what happened recently is somewhat beyond unbelievable, um, really comical that the United States is becoming a democracy no different from South Korea during the dictatorship of Park Chung-hee in the 1970s. And I heard a message on the radio from a pastor. I don't remember his name. A Christian broadcast radio station I hear on a daily basis, and I'm sorry to say this, but the pastor basically preached nonsense, unbelievable nonsense. In the light of the situation, he basically said that if you read the Bible, you will not sin. I have seen so much sin among our pastors. I just kind of wonder whether they actually read the Bible from basically what they're preaching. It's just, I just can't believe that it requires somebody like me who graduated from UC Berkeley to see that my pastors, almost none of the pastors are preaching what they practice, what they preach, basically. Um, it's kind of unbelievable and surreal. I mean, one famous apologist who passed away, I don't want to reveal his name. I think you all know it's a Christian famous apologist who defended the Bible from atheists and non-Christians and all that stuff. And right now, they uncovered a scandal that he committed adultery outside of marriage. Let's discuss the Ten Commandments, and this is kind of trivial that every pastor should know, but obviously the pastors who preach that such that if you read the Bible you will not sin are actually sinning as we speak, and haven't really read the Bible as carefully as me or even my 4-year-old daughter on Christmas Day. Uh, that our pastors just only worship 9 of the 10 commandments, and past this apologist who passed away just um, only believe 8 out of the 10 commandments, which is more terrible than all the pastors who only obey 9 out of the 10 commandments, right? But this apologist who passed away just worship 8 out of the 10 commandments, and it sounds like hilarity. If I become a stand-up comic in a comedy show for Christians, I would probably pack the house in hilarity that our pastors just really don't listen what they're saying on the pulpit. Like, read the Bible and it'll keep you away from sin. And the reality is, none of our pastors are reading the Bible carefully. Almost none of them, except maybe me and my 4-year-old daughter. And I'm kind of scratching my head. Am I that holy that I could possibly be the only person on this planet who read the Bible? And I refuse to believe that I am that one, it's because I'm not a holy guy. I make mistakes. I say things to my wife that I should never say when I'm angry and upset. But committing adultery? I mean, come on, guys. Come on, pastors. I mean, if Jesus is really inside of your heart, you don't, you just don't do the ultimate mistake when your wife complains too much. Every woman complain a lot and unreasonably. I told my wife that her job as a mother is the second hardest job in the world, and that my job as a father is the hardest job in the world. And the reason is my wife has to deal with two crazy women in our family, but me, I have to deal with three crazy women. And you need to feel sorry for me. I have three crazy women in my family, my wife and my two daughters. But still, that's not an excuse to do the ultimate mistake. You don't need to read the Bible to avoid this mistake. You just know. You just somehow need to know it when you were born. When you actually have a mother and father, you need to wake up in the morning and realize that God kept your family alive, your daughters or sons, your children alive when you wake up. And and the person who made your children wake up alive is your wife or the mother of your children. Made them alive. I don't know what to say. Let's discuss one commandment that pretty much 99% of the pastors around the world are just completely ignore. Do I have to say it? It's the fourth commandment in the Bible. Keep the Sabbath holy. Sabbath means rest. I get it. But rest is coupled with worship, with a community of believers keeping each other accountable, not to sin. Maybe you need to read the Bible to really understand that you have to keep the Sabbath holy. But every pastor said you have to keep the Sabbath holy. You don't work on the Sabbath. All the pastors said that, but none of the pastors actually listen to what they preach. And right now, my wife doesn't want to go to church anymore because all of my pastors only worship 9 out of the 10 commandments. I know this is unbelievable, but that's the reality of the church. And the church, many pastors sees nothing wrong just worshiping 9 out of the 10 commandments. Actually, this apologist passed away. He sees nothing wrong just worshiping only 8. How many commandments we just how many commandments we can obey to follow God? Just 8, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0? You need, as a pastor, if you want to preach the message, like read the Bible so that it keeps sin away, like eating an apple so that you don't need to see the doctor. An apple a day can keep you well, not be away from doctor away. A lot of engineers made a joke that when they like a girl, they gave an apple. And the reason why engineers gave a beautiful girl an apple is because they don't want that beautiful girl to see the doctor when she gets sick. I get, don't you get the joke? It's kind of like that. But I'm sorry, Pastor from Christian radio broadcasts. Nobody's really listening to your message. Maybe people's not listening to me. Maybe. Maybe nobody's listening to me, but nobody's really listening to you. They want to listen to the music. And frankly speaking, I'm sorry to say this, sir, but cut the preaching out and let me hear some more Christian music when I drive my car, because your messages is pretty much garbage. Garbage. And the reason why it's garbage is because your actions don't support what you preach every time you preach on the radio. You need to back up what you say on the radio station and maybe lose your own life in the process when you preach something like read the Bible, keep the sin away. If you read the Bible, you go to church, you worship God. You don't worship God through Zoom, I'm sorry, or YouTube. You don't worship God through YouTube or Zoom. You go to church even if it means losing your life, your very life. And if your wife said no, then you should get out of ministry. If your wife is not up to the challenge of supporting your job to preach the truth, you better tell everybody to go to church, even if it means losing your life from a flu. This is nonsense. God died for us on the cross. God died for us on the cross. And right now, you're just damn scared, I'm sorry I said the word damn, to die from a flu. That's basically why my wife doesn't want to go to church. Please, show the evidence that you are willing to die for Jesus. And maybe people like my wife would say, let's go to church and be like Jesus, instead of being like everybody else. Stay home and watch Zoom during worship. This is not worship if you watch Zoom. It's not worship. I'm sorry, it's not. You're just watching TV. Like you're watching me through a TV screen. I know ministry is a very hard job. If it's too hard for you, then quit!